Hi guys, today I wanted to read to you some poetry. This is by Charles Baudelaire. Okay, here we go. It's called Alchemy of Sorrow. Alchemy de la douleur. L'un te claire avec son odeur, l'autre en toi met son deuil nature. Security à l'un sepulture, dit à l'autre veillette splendeur. Hermès inconnu qui m'ocytocissait, et qui toujours m'intimidas, tu me rends l'égal de Midas. Les plus tristes des alchimistes, pour toi j'échange l'or en fer, et le paradis en enfer. Dans les soirs des nuages, je découvre un cadavre cher, et sur les célestes rivages, je bâtis de grands sarcophages. The Alchemy of Sorrow. One man lights you with his ardor, another puts you in mourning. Nature, that which says to one, sepulchre, and another, to glory, life. You have always frightened me, Hermes the unknown, you who help me. You make me the peer of Midas, the saddest of all alchemists. Through you I change gold to iron, and make of paradise a hell. In winding sheet of the clouds I discover a beloved corpse, and on the celestial shores I build massive sarcophagi. This next poem is called Anywhere Out of the World. This life is a hospital where every patient is possessed with the desire to change beds. One man would like to suffer in front of the stove, another believes he would recover his health beside the window. It always seems to me that I should feel well in the place where I am not, and this question of removal is one which I discuss incessantly with my soul. Tell me, my soul, my poor chilled soul, what do you think of going to live in Lisbon? Must be warm there, and there you would invigorate yourself like a lizard. The city is on the seashore. They say that it is built of marble, and that the people have such a hatred of vegetation that they uproot all the trees. There you have a landscape that corresponds to your taste, a landscape made out of light and mineral and liquid to reflect them. My soul does not reply. Since you are so fond of stillness coupled with the show of movement, would you like to settle in Holland, that beatifying country? Perhaps you would find some diversion in that land, whose image you have so often admired in the art galleries. What do you think of Rotterdam, you who love forests of masts and ships moored at the foot of houses? My soul remains silent. Perhaps Batavia attracts you more. There we should find, amongst other things, the spirit of Europe married to tropical beauty. Not a word could my soul be dead. Is it then that you have reached such a degree of lethargy that you acquiesce in your sickness? If so, let us flee to lands that are analogues of death. I can see how it is, poor soul, that we shall pack our trunks for Torneo. Let us go, farther still to the extreme end of the Baltic, or farther still from life if that is possible. Let us settle at the pole. There the sun only grazes the earth obliquely, and the slow alternation of light and darkness suppresses variety and increases monotony, that half-nothingness. There we shall be able to take long baths of darkness, while our amusement for the aurora borealis shall send us its rose-colored rays that are like the reflection of hell's own fireworks. At last my soul explodes, and wisely cries out to me, no matter where, as long as it's out of the world. This one's called At 1 o'clock in the morning. Alone at last, not a sound to be heard but the rumbling of some belated and decrepit cabs. For a few hours we shall have silence, if not repose. At last the tyranny of the human face has disappeared, and I myself shall be the only cause of my sufferings. At last, then, I am allowed to refresh myself in a bath of darkness. First of all, a double turn of the lock. It seems to me that this twist of the key shall increase my solitude and fortify the barricades which at this instant separate me from the world. Horrible life, horrible town. Let us recapitulate the day. Seen several men of letters, one of whom asked me whether one could go to Russia by a land route. No doubt he took Russia to be an island. Disputed generously with the editor of a review, who to each of my objections replied, "We represent the cause of decent people," which implies that all other newspapers are edited by scoundrels, greeted by some 20 persons, with 15 of whom I am not acquainted, distributed handshakes in the same proportion, and this without having taken the precaution of buying gloves. To kill time, during a shower, went to see an acrobat, who asked me to design her costume for a Venustra. Paid court to the director of a theater, who, while dismissing me, said to me, "Perhaps you would do well to apply to Z. He is the clumsiest, stupidest, and most celebrated of my authors. Together with him, perhaps, you would get somewhere. Go to see him, and after that we will see." Boasted. Why? Of several vile actions which I have never committed, and faint-heartedly denied some other misdeeds which I accomplished with joy, an error of bravado, an offense against human respect, refused by a friend an easy service, and gave a written recommendation to a perfect clown. Oh, isn't that enough? Discontented with everyone and discontented with myself, I would gladly redeem myself and elate myself a little in the silence and solitude of night. Souls of those I have loved, souls of those I have sung, strengthen me, support me, rid me of lies and their corrupting vapors of the world. You, O Lord God, grant me the grace to produce a few good verses, which shall prove myself that I am not the lowest of men, that I am not inferior to those whom I despise. This one's called Autumn. Soon we will plunge ourselves into cold shadows, and all of summer's stunning afternoons will be gone. I can already hear the dead thugs of logs below falling on the cobblestones and the lawn. All of winter will return to me, derision, hate, shuddering, horror, drudgery, and vice, and exiled like the sun to a polar prison, my soul will harden into a block of ice. I shiver as I listen to each log crash and slam. The echoes are as dull as executioners' drums. My mind is like a tower that slowly succumbs to the blows of a relentless battering ram. It seems to me, swaying to these shocks, that someone is nailing down a coffin in a hurry somewhere. For whom? It was summer yesterday, and now it's autumn. The echoes of departure keep resounding in the air. This one is called with waving opalescence in her gown, avec ses vêtements brillants et nacrés. Avec ses vêtements brillants et nacrés, même quand elle marchait, on croyait qu'elle danse, comme ces longues serpents qu'elle les jalons sur sa cœur, à bout de leurs bâtons agitants et cadence, comme les sables monts et l'azur des déserts. Insensible, tout doux à la main souffrance, comme de les longs réseaux de la loule des mers. Elle se développe avec indifférence. Ses yeux polis sont faits de minéraux charmants, et dans cette nature étrange et symbolique, au linge inviolé s'est mêlé au sphinx antique, où tout n'est qu'acier, lumière, diamant, resplendit à jamais comme un astre entré, la froide majesté de la femme stérile. With her pearly undulated dresses, even when she's walking, she seems to be dancing, like those long snakes which the holy fakirs sit swaying in cadence at the end of their staffs, like dull sand in the blue of deserts. Both seem unfeeling toward human suffering. Like the long web of the ocean billows, she unfurls herself with unconcern. Her glassy eyes are made of charming minerals, and in that nature symbolic and strange, where pure angel is united with ancient sphinx, where everything is gold, steel, light, and diamonds, there glitters forever, like a useless star, the frigid majesty of the sterile woman. This next poem is called Beacons. Rubens, river, forgetfulness, garden of sloth, pillow of wet flesh that I cannot love. But where life throngs and seethes without cease, like the air in the sky and the water in the sea. Leonardo da Vinci, sinister mirror, where these charming angels with sweet smiles, charged with mysteries, appear in shadows of glaciers and pines that close off in the country. Rembrandt, sad hospital full of murmurs, decorated only with a crucifix, where tearful prayers arise from filth, an array of winter light crosses brusquely. Michelangelo, a wasteland where one sees Hercules mingling with Christ and rising in a straight line, powerful phantoms in the twilight tear their shrouds with stretching fingers. Rage of a boxer, impudence of a fawn. You who gather together the beauty of the boar, your big heart swelling with pride, man defective in yellow, Puget, melancholy emperor of the poor. Watteau, this carnival of illustrious hearts like butterflies, errant and flamboyant in the cool decor, with delicate lighting in the chandeliers, crossing the madness of the twirling ball. Goya, nightmare of unknown things, fetuses roasting on the spit, harridans in mirror, and naked children tempting demons by loosening their stockings. Delacroix, haunted lake of blood and evil angels, shaded by evergreen forests of dark firs, where, under a grieving sky, strange fanfares pass like a gasping breath of weeper. These curses, these blasphemies, these moans, these ecstasies, these tears, these cries of Te Deum are echo iterated in 1,000 mazes. It is, for mortals' hearts, a divine opium. It is a cry repeated by 1,000 sentinels, an order returned by 1,000 megaphones, a beacon lighting 1,000 citadels, a summons to hunters in the lost wide woods. For truly, O Lord, what better testimony can we give to our dignity than this burning sob that rolls from age to age and comes to die on the shore of your eternity? All right, one more. Benediction. Lorsque, par un décret de puissance suprême, le poète apparaît en ce monde ennuyé, sa mère épouvantée et pleine de blasphème crispe ses poings verdus qui la prennent à pitié. Ah, que ne gémit pas tout un nœud de vipère, plutôt que de nourrir ses dérisions. Maudite soit la nuit aux plaisirs éphémères. Au monde ventre a conçu en expression, puisque tu m'as choisi entre toutes les femmes pour être tel dégoût de mon triste mari, et que je ne puis pas rejeter dans les flammes comme un billet de l'amour se montre regourgri. Je ferai rejaillir ta haine qui m'accable sur l'instrument maudit de méchanceté, et j'ai torté si bien cet arbre misérable qui ne pourra pousser ses boutons empestés. Elle révèle ainsi le coup de sa haine et ne comprenait pas le désir éternel. Elle-même prépare au fond de la Guérine la boucle consacrée au crime maternel. Pourtant, sous la tutelle invisible en ange, l'enfant de charité enivré de soleil, et dans tout qu'il boit, et dans tout ce qu'il mange, retrouver l'ambroisie et le nectar femelle. Au jeu avec la fente, cause avec les nuages, et s'en vive en chantant du chemin de la croix, et l'esprit qui suit dans son pernil l'échange, pleure de le voir gai comme un oiseau de bois. Tout sous qu'il votre mère, observant avec crayon, ou bien et sans redisant de sa tranquillité, je chante à qui sera lui tirer une plainte et fonde sur lui. Benediction. When a degree of supreme power as the poet is brought forth in this wearisome world, his mother is terrified and full of blasphemies, raises her clenched fist to God who pities her. Ah, with that I have spawned a whole knot of vipers rather than to have fed this derisive object. Accursed be the night of ephemeral joy when my belly conceived this, my expiation. Since all of women you have chosen me to be repugnant to my sorry spouse, and since I cannot cast this misshapen monster into the flames like a love letter, I shall spew the hatred in which you crush me down, the cursed instrument of your malevolence, and that twist so hard this wretched tree that it cannot push forth its pestilential buds. Thus she gulps down the froth of her hatred, and under understanding the eternal designs herself prepares deep down in the Gehenna the pyre reserved for a mother's crimes. However protected by an unseen angel, the outcast child is enwrapped by the sun, and in all that he eats and everything he drinks he finds sweet ambrosia and rubiate nectar. He cavorts with the winds, he converses with the clouds, and singing, transported, goes the way of the cross. The angel who follows him on a pilgrimage weeps to see him, carefree as a bird. All of those he would love would watch him with fear, or emboldened by his tranquility, emulously attempt to wring a groan from him and test him on their inhumanity. With the bread and the wine intended for his mouth, they mix ashes and foul spittle, and hypocrites cast away what he touches, and feel guilty if they have trodden his footprints. His wife goes about marketplaces crying, "Since he finds me fair enough to adore, I shall imitate the idols of old, and regard them like I want to be regilded. I shall get drunk with bicanard, incense, myrrh, and with genuflections, viands, and wine, to see if I laughingly can usurp in an admiring heart the homage to the god. And when I tire of these impious strokes, I shall lay upon him my dainty hand, and my nails, like harpy talons, will cut a path straight to his heart." Alright, well, that's all for now. We'll see you next time.